Hello, salam, shalom, namaste, sat sri akal, aloha, hola, ciao, bonjour, buna, and привет. It's really, really good to be with you again. And you know what? We have a very, very cool guest today. And so I'm sure you will also be very happy to have joined us. And our guest today is Wilma David. Wilma is an award-winning author, affiliate of Academy of Wellness, an alternative healing practitioner, and life coach. So I'm so excited to have you with us, Wilma. Welcome.
Hi, Samia. And you said hola and all this beautiful welcoming. And in our language, in the Filipino language, says mabuhay.
Ah,
Mabuhay. So it's welcoming life. So
mm,
thank you so much for inviting me. And you never forget. Now it's coming to fruition. So thank you. Thank you so much.
yes.
Mhm.
So good to have you with us. And Wilma, will you please tell us more about who you are and what you do?
Yes, I'm Wilma David, and I am an alternative healing practitioner. But previously, my background is I'm a chemical engineer. Then, along my life journey and spiritual path and ascension, so I fully transitioned to becoming a holistic healing practitioner. I use a lot of different customized modality, and I'm very much enthusiastic this campaign of educating people, like I mentioned to you, about the technology nowadays is very open. People can just I told you self-medicate. So it's the one thing that I wanted to share in your platform of
Mm.
the pros and cons of self-medication.
Yes. Oh, that is a very,
Yeah,
very important topic when it comes to how we manage our wellness. So tell me
absolutely.
more. Yeah. What is
Mm-hmm.
one of the big problems that you see in the context of
Mm-hmm.
people engaging in self-medication?
Mm-hmm. Because there's a huge advantage right now that people can just Google anything, and the search
Yeah.
engine is very much open to any age group. Even like a very young kid can Google something, and the exchange of online buying and all these things are very open. Even over the counter, or even in places like pharmacies or convenience stores, are easy access right now for people to just buy anything for whatever conditions that they are going through in their physical body or emotional and
Mm.
mental aspect of it, right? And I want to increase the awareness, especially to your platform, not to resort into self-medicating, especially just buying over-the-counter medications for any kind of pain.
Mm.
Pain is a very much very vague topic, especially a physical pain or emotional pain or whatever it is. And then now people can just order anything pretty much online, as medication to substitute or to alleviate the pain. But
Mm.
people are not really looking what is the source or the truth of the pain, right?
Mm.
So, and now I'm noticing that people are more in sort of like a danger of harming their body because the perhaps whatever they're buying online is not really the right or appropriate cure for the physical body, because sometimes people just get used to buying, say, pain medication in the store. I'm nothing against with the pharmaceutical, but because sometimes they overdose themselves, and then the tendencies for some organs of the body, to be more harmful than beneficial. So
Yeah.
now I'm really campaigning more of this awareness, especially to young adults and or people who can buy online or can just easily access
Yeah.
that instead of, let's say, going to buying something online or paying, maybe refocus it, let's say, into silence, to meditation, or just walking and breathing, more holistic approach rather than right away. People, sometimes I
Mm,
hear that they are very much into heartburn or antacids that
mm,
they get into just the store, in the gasoline station, because they are stressed, but they are not really addressing the cause of the stress, right?
yeah.
So it's more of a temporary solution, right, rather than looking at the truth of what's really going on with them.
Hey, thanks for tuning into this episode. Hope you're getting value out of it. For your information, this episode has been sponsored by the Happiness 101 program. Are you a change maker, coach, trainer, or healer? Are chains of fear holding you back from making the impact and income you desire? Using a unique combination of positive psychology and the spiritual wisdom of our most effective change makers, the Happiness 101 program helps you break through your limiting beliefs and manifest the abundance and success you desire with fun and ease. Interested? Book a free Happiness 101 exploration call with me, your happiness expert, Samia Bano. Just use my online calendar link in the show notes. Now, back to the show. Yes. You just made me think of a number of cases in my family and even with
Mm-hmm.
myself. One of the first cases that popped up in my mind was actually
Mm-hmm.
my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
She's passed away now,
Mm-hmm.
but when she was alive, well, she went through a lot in her life, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And after
Mm-hmm.
my grandfather passed away, she survived him by many years. But
Mm-hmm.
after he passed away, her mental health deteriorated, her physical health deteriorated. She was never quite the same person
Mm-hmm.
again after losing
Mm-hmm.
losing my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
And one habit that she got into that turned out to be really harmful for her was that um, she started self-medicating. Like she was just taking, like anytime she would feel even a little bit of physical pain, she was like, I cannot bear it. And she
Mm-hmm.
would take a painkiller. And usually it was
Mm-hmm.
something like Tylenol. So, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
theoretically, Tylenol is supposed to be safe and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like she was taking the over-the-counter
Mm-hmm.
level, so it wasn't even
Mm-hmm.
necessarily a huge dosage. But
Mm-hmm.
we found out that after her years and years of, you know, just taking Tylenol every time she felt
Mm-hmm.
even a little bit of pain, it actually
Mm-hmm.
started to impact her body and her health
Correct.
in all kinds
Correct.
of ways. It actually started to affect her stomach and her
Mm-hmm.
ability to digest food and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. Um, so that's like one example that immediately popped up in my mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then the other example that I'll share is my own. I
Uh-huh.
actually have issue where I have episodes of like bursitis, flaming,
Mm-hmm.
it's like my hip joint flames
Mm-hmm.
up.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I went to the doctor. I didn't even
Mm-hmm.
try to self-medicate. I went to the doctor. The doctor told me,
Mm-hmm.
okay, Samia, when you have this inflammation occur, you
Mm-hmm.
have to take this medication so you can bring
Mm-hmm.
down the inflammation. And
Mm-hmm.
more importantly, you have to rest. You have to
Yes,
rest your
exactly.
hip. You can't
Uh-huh.
be walking. You can't even sit because even when you're sitting, your hip is
Uh-huh.
being actively used. And so
Correct.
basically I have to lie down.
Yes.
And the problem that I found, and this was like, was that as long as I could feel the pain in my hip, I was like very inclined to lie down because the moment I
Mm-hmm.
moved, especially the
Mm-hmm.
first time I had this flare up, it was like I didn't realize what was happening, and
Mm-hmm.
I waited. I wouldn't go to the doctor. I was like, oh, it'll just get better on its
Mm-hmm.
own until it got
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
bad I could not move without hurting. And so then
Mm-hmm.
I went to the doctor, and the doctor said, okay, you start doing this. So once I started taking the medication, actually the pain seemed to disappear.
Okay.
And so then I was like, oh, great, I'm feeling better. And so I didn't listen to the second part of the doctor's advice.
The
And
rest
I
part.
didn't rest. Yes. And the
Yes.
problem was that the
Mm-hmm.
medication that he gave me, it was some kind of anti-inflammatory, but it
Uh-huh.
was
Uh-huh.
also a painkiller. And so my
Uh-huh.
body thought, like my
Uh-huh.
brain tricked me into, or my brain got tricked into thinking that the pain was gone.
Yes, yes.
And so
Yeah.
I started moving around
Yeah.
like I would without pain. And so actually,
Yeah.
in some ways, the lesson that I learned from that was that there's a reason why our body has us feel the pain. And
Correct.
when we use these kinds of medications and we fool our body into thinking, or our
Mm-hmm.
minds or whatever, into thinking, oh, the pain is gone because I took this medication,
Yeah.
you haven't addressed the
Like a
core
placebo
underlying
effect.
issue. Yes, it's like you're doing more harm. You're actually going to take
Uh-huh.
longer to heal
Uh-huh.
whatever the issue
Uh-huh.
is.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because we have to realize that every organ of our body has divine intelligence, like the
Mm,
heart knows what to do, it knows the
yeah.
heartbeat. The liver knows what to do. The
Yeah.
lungs knows what to do. But because we somehow misconstruct the ability or the natural ability of our body to naturally heal, then we mask it, you know. And the
Mm,
more, because I work as a chemical engineer in the pharmaceutical industry, and that awareness, I hybrid the good things in science and combine it with
mm,
quantum and metaphysical, right? So what I have noticed is because obviously whenever you just pop in an easy dose of a capsule or uh, for a right reason, yes, if it's
yeah.
properly diagnosed, so nothing wrong with that, right? But people are just not even diagnosed. They just assume that, oh, okay, I have this hyperacidity that I need to take some antacids. But
Yeah.
the truth issue are just stress. Let's say you're stressed because of
Mm,
some work tensions or some time
yeah.
management issues, right? So now, like you said, you forgot to rest,
Yeah.
but the recipe at all is your body to completely pause your
Yeah.
brain because it's overacting, right?
Mm,
So, and now it delays the healing, and most people now get to the habit of wanting to take more whenever they feel something,
yeah.
okay, rather than it's taking it as a sign that you really have your body's telling you know what, it's time for you to just rejuvenate and slow down, all right,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
reroute your pattern of work because it's too toxic. Maybe you have to fast with people who are toxic, you know.
Mm,
So, and because everything is about energy, and there is this prana that is moving our blood circulation, and most of the time it gets stagnant because people even forget how to breathe. They just used
yeah.
to, okay, the routine of wake up in the morning, rushing, 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 and then they get a headache into the traffic and going to the work and everything like
Yeah.
that. So they even breathe just the recirculated air, let's say, in the car, right? So,
Yeah.
but sometimes the oxygen level can spike up when you just go maybe a minute of breathing, breathing
Yeah.
outside the air and taking some fresh air, right? So,
Mm,
and now especially, just the search engine is very open, and a
yeah.
lot of people even buy that there's no H filter. There's no H filter I can buy in any kind of
Yeah.
like platform that they sell anything in online. Then it can
Yeah.
be delivered in your home. So And when people start at an early age buying like that, the
Mm,
danger is the longevity of their life is lessening, because I have
mm,
seen and interviewed a lot of, for example, like university students or high school students going for an exam, right?
yeah.
So, and they like to, for example, review in the exam like cramming, like late before the exam,
Ah,
that's the only time they will review, right? And
yeah.
then one of a friend of my, a neighbor of mine, I saw and I said, "What is that on your table?" Oh, it says like they are caffeine pills, caffeine pills that
Ah,
they bought online. So aside from the coffee that they're drinking, and aside from the, for example, any caffeine drinks that they are drinking, they even buy like caffeine pills online, which is obviously
mm,
non-controllable. So now you spike up with caffeine, and then
mm,
tendency after that, they cannot sleep. They said,
mm,
okay, I have a sleeping problem. I have this insomnia. I couldn't sleep. But it's their action, you know? So more and
mm,
more so, I want to educate people, especially like the proper discipline, because
yeah.
imagine like buying so much of a caffeine pills, right? So what will happen, let's say if you're doing that at the age of 22 to 20 years from now, what will happen to your liver? What will happen
Yeah.
to your other systems of your body, right? So, and I'm really am grateful that this platform hopefully can reach a lot of audience for them to open up to clarity that
Yeah.
there's natural way of releasing all this kind of mental and emotional stress, instead of really getting addicted into something that later on has consequences.
Yes. You just made me think about, I was recently watching a documentary on TV.
Mm-hmm,
It's actually based on a book that came out, and I read the book several
mm-hmm,
years ago.
mm-hmm.
And the book itself is written based on extensive research. It's called The Blue Zones. And basically, the author and a team of people, I suppose.
Actually, that's in Netflix right now.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Yes, I just watched
Yes.
it as well. Mhm.
Yeah, I
Yes,
loved reading the book so much,
yes.
and I really enjoyed the documentary too. And for
Uh-huh.
those of our audience who are listening, if you don't know about the Blue Zones, these are
Mm-hmm.
basically areas in the world. There are
Or
five,
countries. Yeah.
yes, not even whole countries. They're like
It's,
actually regions within countries where people are living the longest and most healthiest lives. So that it's
mm-hmm.
not just that they're living long.
Mm-hmm.
The people in these regions are like reaching age 100 and
That's,
higher at the
yes,
highest
yes.
levels. But they're not
Mm-hmm.
just old. They're actually healthy. They're active.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Their mental health is good. Their physical health is good.
Mm-hmm.
And so the person, the researcher, he went around and, he tried to figure out what is it
Were,
that
yeah.
makes these people able to live so long and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the most important findings and insights of his study research, I think, are that there's their health and wellness has so much to do with their lifestyle.
Absolutely. Yes.
The kind of social life they have that is
Yes.
so important, like social support, social engagement, but also just the kind of everyday lifestyle that they have
Mm-hmm.
in terms
Mm-hmm.
of how much they move, how they move, the kind of work
Mm-hmm.
that they do. All of these things impact
Mm-hmm.
our health. And
Absolutely.
unfortunately, we are, like I know for me, I keep having to really watch myself, and every so often I'll like
Mm-hmm.
forget or
Mm-hmm.
prioritize other things than my health and wellness and slip into bad patterns. But it's like, what happens is that like I
Mm-hmm.
know, for example, I'm living in Los Angeles and
Yeah.
it's like a modern 21st century city, and there's a certain culture and a certain pace of
Yes.
life over here,
Uh-huh.
and
Uh-huh.
it's so not the dominant culture here is not designed for you to
Mm-hmm.
be able to live in this most healthy
Mm-hmm.
kind
Yeah.
of way. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
support. Like you want to get all the sleep that
Mm-hmm.
your body needs. You want to eat healthy. You don't
Mm-hmm.
want to be,
Mm-hmm.
doing bad work that makes you feel
Mm-hmm.
stressed out. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like the way the dominant culture is set up,
Mm-hmm.
making those choices can feel so hard because the dominant culture is pushing you towards high
Mm-hmm.
stress jobs and
Mm-hmm.
to staying up late working and so
Mm-hmm.
forth, things like that. So what are some solutions that you teach your
Mm.
clients?
Number one is obviously mindfulness and awareness, you
Mm,
know. So because when you are on your own very conscious about it and you are always mindful of your own energy. I always call it like the original blueprint of our body is light body.
mm,
It's very light, which means to say there is no distortions. All right. But the
mm,
moment we come out, let's say for in our mother's womb, people already are open to the whatever source of environmental factors that contributed
yeah,
to a lot of tension or like you said, the
mm,
dynamic of where you live, you know.
yeah,
So but when you are really mindful and conscious, you avoid certain patterns that is not healthy for you. Then you make
mm,
the choices, right? So now, but most people are even afraid to make the choices, to make a
mm,
healthy lifestyle. They follow the whole group of people. Let's say it's a status quo, a symbol that if I am going to a gym, I'm healthy. You know what I mean?
yeah,
If you go
yeah,
to a gym, I have a gym membership. Oh, I look like I am, but not knowing you're only boosting your ego, but not really your
mm,
overall well-being, right? But when you feel the lightness of the body without discomfort, you know that your mental and emotional state and also spiritual state is becoming healthy and healthier, right?
mm,
So, but now people are, I always tell them to mind the energy because the energy is very moving in every areas of our life, either they're external or internal. So when you are really mindful, conscious, and aware what your body is telling you, when there's heaviness right away, where is this coming from? Is this
yeah,
because like I have overload myself, or is there any other uh, negative energies coming from outside of me? So now you are
yeah,
aware and then you stay back, you pause. You
yeah,
know what? I love myself. I don't deserve this, you know? So, and the key I always emphasize is loving yourself. When you are loving yourself, then you are more conscious not to be like a liter of all these toxic garbages. I'm not just talking physical garbages, but whatever it is around you, don't absorb it. Don't
yeah,
absorb or reject other people's whatever negativity or tension or whatever people, because you have the
mm,
ability to uh, control not other people, but your reaction towards your
mm,
own response mechanism, right? So
yeah.
in that question, obviously, it's mindfulness and awareness is very important. Mm.
Yes, that is such a good point. Because if you're not even aware of what the problem is or how it's impacting you, like I know I have had this challenge um, for a long time in my life. I'm getting better at it now, but I had terrible awareness of, especially like my own body.
Mm-hmm.
I was very, in some ways, I was very aware of like my thoughts
Mm-hmm.
and what I was thinking. But beyond that, I
Mm-hmm.
really struggled with awareness. Uh, whatever thoughts I had, uh, I didn't realize or understand how they
Mm-hmm.
were making me feel. I
Correct.
didn't
Mm-hmm.
understand the connection there. And
Mm-hmm.
then feeling both at the level of my mental, emotional state, but
Mm-hmm.
also then I had always a lot of struggle being aware of what was going on in my body and what I was
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
feeling in my body. So like I would
Mm-hmm.
go to the doctor and my doctor would ask me questions and I'd
Mm-hmm.
be like, I don't know. I don't know. Like I remember one time I went and I had a issue, like I actually developed an issue with like having migraines when I was still a
Mm-hmm.
teenager.
Mm-hmm.
And my doctor started asking me questions about
Mm-hmm.
what kind of pain I had
Mm-hmm.
when I had a headache.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I had migraines and they're so intense and they're so bad, I would like be
Mm-hmm.
incapacitated when I had migraines. I still could not describe to the doctor what
Mm-hmm.
I felt when
Mm-hmm.
I went to see him. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I just know I have a headache and it's really
Mm-hmm.
bad. And
Mm-hmm.
I'd struggle to express anything beyond that, you know. So I was like really challenged in that
Yes,
way. And when you cannot even express yourself, when you are not even aware yourself of
correct. Mm.
what you're feeling and why you're feeling
Mm-hmm.
it, even other people will struggle to help you. It's
Correct.
very challenging.
Yeah. So, going through what you've been through,
Mm.
actually, it starts with the thought. You mentioned about the thought, right?
Mm.
Then you reach a point of an oversaturation of a thought.
Mm.
And what you explain in your experience, the thought was converted into an emotion, then it converted to a feeling, and then your body reacted to it. So that
Yeah.
process, you have to evaluate what was the thought, you know? And
Mm.
most people, their thought is about fear, about
Uh,
procrastination, about the negativity of that comes into their mind because of many
mm.
aspects of doubt or self-criticism. So
Mm.
now it has been accumulated, and you said like you don't even explain to the doctor. That means you got blocked, you know.
Yeah.
So is there's already a thick dirt of this vibration that is in your aura, where I always do my clients when I cleanse their aura, I see like it's like a, like a filter, and the filter
Yeah.
has too much dust.
Yeah.
Every single hole of the filter is already has debris and even like a hole or a rip or a tear, and when that happens, you can imagine a filter in an air conditioner or in the car, it starts to malfunction, right? So
Yeah.
now there's when I help my clients recalibrate their thoughts, recalibrate
Yeah.
their pattern of thinking, then they're starting to open up the vessels and even the cellular level of
Uh,
the client. Because when you recalibrate your brain, your DNA starts to follow, right? And when
mm.
you just simply start with some good affirmations when you wake up in the morning, your body dictates right away. But I just noticed that when I interviewed some other people, the moment they get up, they say, "I'm tired." you know, just they're waking up. They always say, "I don't have energy," right? So right away from the moment that you get up from the bed, and I'm lazy to go to work. So the
Yeah.
response mechanism of that thought is right away getting into the nerves and the atoms and the molecules of the body. Then you
Mm.
start to be sluggish, right? So
Yeah.
imagine a cycle of that, for example, for 5 years or even more than that, right?
Yeah.
So now, even if you take how much depression pills or you take so much gym work, but still you are in the same pattern every single day, then what do you
Yeah.
expect, right?
Yeah.
So when your awareness is blocked, that's where it is important. You need to seek some help, and
Yes.
this way, when a person, the right person or practitioner that you go through, you are not putting yourself in danger of self-medicating,
Yeah.
because there are a lot of high dose milligram of pain medication out there. Either it could be a
Mm.
muscle pain, it could be some stomach cramp pain or menstrual pain, whatever pain that they have.
Yeah.
But later on, they will just realize people have experience of a tumor or like
Yeah.
a cyst or whatever kind of, because the body has been full of dust and debris, and there's no more where to go in your energetic
Yeah.
field. So now it's starting to
Yeah.
have a clot, a tumor or a cyst or a lump,
Mm.
So this is very important, as I said, and I really am positively wanted to reach a lot of platform audience through this call, really to be super, super, super kind to your body, not just your body, but your overall well-being. Because
Yes.
the moment you practice kindfulness to yourself,
Mm.
imagine how much the permutation of extending kindfulness to others, you know?
Ah, yes.
So that's a ripple effect instead of having a placebo effect of pain, 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 instead of joy, 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 happiness, 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 right?
Yes, that is
Mm.
such a great point. That is such a great point. It's when you're not feeling well yourself, you're not doing well yourself, it's also difficult for you to be good to other people,
Yeah, the vibration.
yes, yes. And, I see this a lot where um, I know, like, for example, some of the people that I know in my life that um, I saw changes in them, where I knew them to be some of the most kind and gentle people, but then they went through some kind of struggle and they
Mm-hmm.
were not doing so well themselves, and
Mm-hmm.
suddenly their energy shifted, but their behavior
Mm-hmm.
also shifted with other
Mm-hmm.
people. And so then
Mm-hmm.
when you are and they became more irritable, for example, with
Mm-hmm.
other people. They
Mm-hmm.
became more judgmental of other
Mm-hmm.
people, judging
Mm-hmm.
them more harshly. And I was just, now I have a better understanding of why that is. But in those days, like the first time I remember experiencing this kind of change in somebody, I found it very, like, I didn't understand it. So for me, it was
Okay.
like shocking to experience
Mm-hmm.
this change in their behavior. And
Mm-hmm.
like in my case, I was like I had not very good mental health myself at that time. So I was like, I cannot deal with this. And I just kind of pulled away from them.
Yes.
But, you know, I realized that after I helped myself and I'm feeling better and I'm more in control of my wellness, then
Mm-hmm.
not only am I able to say, think back and
Mm-hmm.
have more compassion and empathy for what they were going through
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and try and help them
Mm-hmm.
now, and so I realized about, oh, this is true for me too. I wasn't feeling so good then, and so
Mm-hmm.
then
Mm-hmm.
it actually
Mm-hmm.
compromised my ability to help
Correct.
other people also.
Yes.
And so,
Yeah. Yeah, which brings me to a key point that you
yeah.
mentioned is like never compromise yourself, you know.
Mm,
So now, like you realize yourself when you compromise yourself, you shut off many, not just the vital organs, but many of your aspects of manifestation, right? So whether it's
mm,
relationship or career or work or whatever it is, you shut it off because you don't see the
yeah.
clarity of it, right? So
Yeah.
that level of experience that you pass, brings you the light. So where you are right now, being a conduit of positivity to other people, because you pass that
Yeah.
experience. So the same thing that you wanted to, uh, you are passionate to do this kind of video or interviews because you know how benefit of being in the dark and the lightness, you know
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the more that you experience that lightness, the more that we are so much passionate. You know what? Why don't you want to go into this zone rather than being in the zone of darkness and negativity and frustration, right? And as I said,
Yeah.
our elemental body is very sensitive because it's very intelligent.
Yeah.
The divine intelligence of our creation from the source, it's really divine. But because right
Yeah.
now everything is artificial. You know, they wanted to mask everything, and then injection here and there, or whatever it is. Like even like a lot of people put so much things on their face that it altered their
Mm,
natural beauty. You know, because
mm,
people are masking even like a single speck of a mole. You know, they would
mm.
put so much, for example, a concealer or a foundation,
Yeah.
but that is the one that is unique to you. You know, that's very unique
Mm,
to you. And now the state of comparison and comparing yourself to others, then it creates an insecurity, and then people get to be addicted into some form of anything. It could be addiction
yeah.
to buying so much cosmetics, or addiction to
Yes.
buying so much uh, you know, I've seen a lot of apps right now. There's a lot of apps
Yeah.
online, you know, that is created just
Yeah.
to really make you feel beautiful in the social media, right? But then if they see that they don't have a like, no, you know, there's no popularity,
Yeah.
they get depressed. So when they get
Right.
depressed, they will buy something out there to mask the depression. All right.
Right.
So, and especially now, I've seen that there's a lot of forms that they buy in the form of gummy bears, you know, like it's just easy to
Yeah.
swallow, to take and ingest. And really be very, very careful with that, you know, especially if you have young children or something. Or even so, I would also emphasize that there are adults, very much adults, that they are sometimes they are in their prescription medications that are highly
Mm.
narcotic, you know, and perhaps
Yeah.
they might not even know the danger of it. And then somebody of a young kid, sometimes sometimes you see from the bottle it says for pain medication, right?
Mm.
So somebody in the household may have seen it, or it's for pain medication, and then suddenly could just open it and then pop it on their own without knowing if it's that the right amount of dosage for their age or for their body, right?
Yeah.
So even adults should play a role of being so mindful and aware to protect their
Mm.
loved ones, right?
Yes. That is such a great point. Thank you so much for that, Wilma. I really appreciate your sharing
Thank
that
you as
experience
well.
and that wisdom.
Yes, yes, yes. And
Yes.
I'm really grateful and hopeful that your platform will educate this awareness. It doesn't matter what season, because this is a very critical stage. Young and adults are, as I said, there's many, even like they call it supplement or
Mm.
natural health products that are claiming to be
Yes.
natural, but you really don't know what is behind that. But because sometimes even like the organic right now, they say it's organic, but too much marketing out there, you
Yeah.
know, and you no longer know if it's organic or not. So
Yes.
have some intellectual research, and as I said, go back to basics, the simple
Yeah.
water, you know,
Yeah.
sunlight, or raw vegetables that you plant and you pick up from the trees, you know. Uh, and I'm campaigning this, and you as well. And for the highest good, I'm really grateful for the opportunity to be here in your platform.
Oh, thank you so much,
Thank
Wilma.
you so much,
So,
Samia.
yes, I will just remind our audience as we wrap up to make sure we check the
Mhm.
show notes because we will be adding Wilma's links in there so you can learn more from her. You know, it's not always so easy on your own to figure these
Yes.
things out. Even the idea of just going back to the simple basics, how do you do that? And do that in a way that's fun and easy. It's not so easy to figure it out on your own, but with someone like Wilma on your side, it can
Yes.
become more fun and easy. So please check the
Absolutely.
show
Yes.
notes. Yes.
Yes.
And thank you again, Wilma.
Thank you
I so
again, and
appreciate your joining
namaste.
us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Namaste. Until we connect next time, I wish you
And
lots and
blessings to
lots of peace
you,
and joy.
and all blessings to you and all the people who will be listening to the recording. Much love to everybody. Thank you, Samia. Okay. Bye bye.